everyone, hope you all are fine. Welcome back. I'm Zenah and you are at ZenTalks. This time also I've come with a book review and it is 13 Reasons Why by J. Asher. The reason why I chose this book is that it shows the exact problems teenagers are facing in high school and how to cope with them. But before going on to my story, let me tell you about J. Asher. J. Asher is an American writer and novelist. He is mostly known for writing the best-selling novel 13 Reasons Why. His books include What Light, The Future of Us, Piper, Christmas in July, Sunny Boy, etc. etc. Coming back, my story is based on how a 17-year-old teenage girl named Hannah Baker suddenly took her own life while going through psychological disorders like depression and anxiety, based on how she felt about herself when she was searching for help, but there was no one to help her to overcome the issues of her life. She was going through issues while she was in high school. Clay Jensen, a typical high school student, is the narrator of the story while Hannah is the subject. So Clay returns home from school one day and finds a mysterious package with his name written on it waiting for him. He finds out that it's some 7 cassette tapes. Who listens to audio tapes, right? So he plays the tapes and he gets the shock of his life. These tapes are recorded by Hannah Baker, his classmate. This wouldn't be much of a surprise if she hadn't committed suicide 2 weeks earlier. There are 13 reasons why Hannah did what she did, and Clay is one of them. What he hears will change his life and what he thought about other people drastically. Hannah's instructions are clear. Clay is to listen to these tapes to find out how he fits into the puzzle of her death, and then he is to mail them to the next person on the list of 13 names. This thriller fiction book was so popular that it was even made into a Netflix super hit series, but I'd rather recommend you to read the book than watch the series. This is a tremendous premise, even if it is preposterous. Hannah's cool voice and impeccable planning do not seem to fit like the actions of a teenager who is bent on self-destruction. Still, if you can't get past this initial contrivance, you are in for a dizzying ride of suspense and revelation. Hannah is a master storyteller who unfolds her narrative with teasing economy. Not until the very end of the tapes do we get her full account of how the stresses of high school life in Middle America have become unbearable. J. Asher knows how to grab our hearts by birth. What the characters are going through, their emotions, it all felt like the characters are sitting in a chair in front of us and narrating their sad stories. I have heard somewhere that J. Asher took 12 years to complete his first novel, and we can definitely see the hard work. This, it turns out, is the reason that Clay, who seems a decent enough boy, is on Hannah's list. He has long had a crush on her, but allowed social awkwardness to keep him disengaged from the girl's growing distress. While nastier boys have violated Hannah's trust in herself and others, Clay's crime is one of omission. He has simply failed to step in and stop the rot. This first book by J. Asher is truly remarkable for its technical elegance in weaving words with Hannah's tapes, with Clay's reactions and memories. Occasionally there are stumbles in the meaning and tone, but the suspense is wound tight as we wait to find out who is next on Hannah's hit list. Less successful altogether is the characterization of the girl herself. Hannah comes across not as much as a young soul in distress, but as a vengeful harpy who takes pleasure in naming and shaming the people whom she blames for her end. This moral confusion is heightened when he discovers that Hannah herself has been guilty of some lapses of good citizenship. All throughout the story, the author signifies the point of key areas that affected Hannah emotionally. This may be an eye-opener for some of us to see that her search for reasons were based on her own desire ending her own life. It is human nature that we look for reasons to hide our guilt from some other wrong thing, but Hannah didn't consider that. Her only choice by which she thought was to end her own life. But perhaps it is to read 13 Reasons Why too rigorously. It is not a moral polemic but a clever sleight of hand. What it manages to do very effectively is to ask its teen readers to think once more about how being part of a herd can mean trampling weaker peripheral members. This book has been a huge hit in the United States, with young readers hailing it as both as a warning and as a manual for how to get through the high school jungle. Young British readers will inevitably have to spend some time mapping the landscape of the book onto their own parish interests. Chances are, though, that the referenced diners, driving, and cheerleaders will add an exotic tang rather than detract from a story whose message is universal. This novel is portraying or telling us that we shouldn't see one of us do the same as Hannah did. We must help them to look for a solution so that they can overcome the feeling that they are alone, regardless of any circumstances in life they face. We must advise them to see a guidance officer or a counselor nearby to seek assistance from them rather than letting them suffer from anxiety and just end up taking an innocent life of theirs like Hannah did. Also, while Clay continues to work towards understanding, he learns many life lessons. He learns to speak up and that every action has a reaction and affects others in some way. The overall message of J. Asher's 13 Reasons Why is, as we go on in life, we need to be more aware of how we affect people's life each and every day. Although we may not always realize it, some people are not always as strong as others, and what we take as a joke could ultimately affect someone's life. Even if it is a small fault, it can snowball up to an avalanche. This book has many messages. Caution: this novel does not glorify suicide. One of the messages is having courage. Clay lost Hannah because he was too afraid of what anyone might think, how people would react if he asked her out, because Hannah had many rumors, false rumors. He says tearfully, "I cost a girl her life because I was too afraid to tell her that I love her." My God, that's too sad. Another thing is underestimating people. We should not underestimate anyone. If one realizes he or she is being underestimated, he or she can be very sad, scared, or angry. Underestimating people can be a major problem. It may lead you to trust bad people, seeing their outside polished version and shoving away good people with just one false rumor. It, at last, may lead us to commit suicide, unable to trust the people around us. Also, it tells us to be open to our parents. Talking to parents might be a great relief because they will support you all your life. They can solve all your problems and make you way better. But Hannah here did not talk to her parents. She felt that they would not do anything. We can clarify this when she says, "Sudden change in appearances are one of the indications a person is suicidal. I cut my hair very short and my mom didn't even notice." Hannah felt insecure because she didn't talk to her parents. We should not feel like that. And the last message is that it shows how what teenagers are facing in high school and how to cope with them, like I said earlier. Hannah here is facing all the problems, and she herself says that committing suicide is not a good thing to do, and he or she might end up in hell. She tells us how different kinds of people are and how to trust anyone. After writing the summary of 13 Reasons Why, I have found out that anything and everything around us in this world happens for a reason, and Hannah committed suicide because she has its reasons for doing such actions like this. If you put yourself into Hannah's shoes, you'll know how much pain she had been through as a teenager in high school. J. Asher wrote and shared this to us because he doesn't want to see what happened to Hannah would happen to anyone suffering from depression and anxiety. You must consult a counselor or a guidance officer for help so we can save lives and not lose lives. In this book, Hannah Baker shared her story with us and what she experienced life in high school, where many of them face these challenges in life. She wrote this because she doesn't want anyone to take their life like she did. So I highly recommend this book because it makes you think once more about the people you trust, about the people around you. Also, it's very, very thrilling. You just can't keep it down. I'll read the back side of this book. It says, "You can't stop the future. You can't rewind the past. The only way to learn the secret is to press play." And that's it. Bye. Oh, and one thing. If you found anything valuable about this book review, just drop a like and don't forget to subscribe for more. Bye.